Hey folks, Phil here. After kind of a lot of debating, I have made the decision to go full-time content creator over the summer. I'm going to be keeping my traditional teaching job during the year, but I'm not going to be doing my normal Latin Academy job this year. In order to kind of make that decision make financial sense and make up for the money that I'm going to be missing by doing that, I have started a Patreon. There's going to be assorted perks for joining that, such as additional written content and exclusive access to some stuff. There is an article in the video description as well as a link to the Patreon directly. If you've been enjoying my content and want to support this endeavor that I'm going to be doing, this is a great time to do that, to kind of give me the pat on the back and say like, "Hey Phil, that was an okay decision. We've got your back for making that." I'll be running this video every day this week, and after you've seen it once, feel free to skip it. All right, hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Pauper video. Today we're going to be playing with Theodore's Turbo Reanimator decklist. So, generally speaking, the reanimator concept is simple enough, right? Like you want to bring a big fatty back from the graveyard as quickly as possible. Well, in Pauper, there is one very good, very mana efficient reanimation spell, and then you have to go up the curve quite a bit to find another one, which is pretty awkward. So this deck list is essentially trying to use ritual mana and use Manamorphose as fixing to turbo out a hasty Eldrazi. So the idea is that you can discard a Dragon Breath, and when a creature with mana value 6 or greater enters the battlefield, you can attach this to it, and that should give the creature haste. Or first day of class, and for 2 mana, when a creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains haste until end of turn. The idea is we use one of these two things coupled with a reanimation spell to go and bring back our Eldrazi as quickly as possible. Now, I am not sure if this deck list is going to work. I'm going to play it as it was submitted because it's very easy to be wrong about evaluating a combo deck before you've played it. But here are my thoughts on looking at the deck list. Number one, 12 lands is not a lot of lands. I think I'm going to mulligan a lot of lands just kind of due to not having enough mana. And the lands that are here are very awkward lands. They sacrifice for 2 mana, which is like a reasonable way to get that one-time burst, but it means we can't play very many spells to help us kind of string things together. I think that's very awkward. I also think we have a lot of cards in this deck list that aren't actually going to contribute to me winning the game. Like, the Exhumes and the Late to Dinners are basically the things that can win me the game, right? And then everything else is meant to kind of make it so that a creature can be in the graveyard. I think first day of class is not good enough to be in this deck. Like, this is just a 2 mana give a creature haste spell. We don't actually have a lesson in our sideboard that we can learn. We're not getting any additional value out of that. I think this should just be more lands or more things that can kind of be a plan B if we don't get to actually get to bring these things back. I'm not sure if these haste cards should actually be in the deck at all or if these should just be other cards. I also think Late to Dinner is going to be a little hard to cast. If we take a look at the lands that are in this deck list, none of them actually produce white mana. So you have to have either a Manamorphose or a Lotus Petal in order to cast Late to Dinner in game 1. There's a Plains and 2 Ash Barrens in the sideboard to adjust for that for post-sideboard games, but, this seems super weird to me. This is one of those times where I would like to assume that the person who built the deck list knows what they're doing, and that, this will make sense. And that, game 1, I'm trying to, mulligan very aggressively and get an Exhume finish, and then when more hate comes in, maybe I need, to slow down a little bit. We'll kind of see how that goes. I'm also pretty sketched out about Angelic Ruin. When a creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you may sacrifice this. If you do, return that creature to the battlefield. That's a way to kind of protect your creatures versus removal, but this feels kind of janky to me. I'm very on the fence on how I feel about this deck. I really hope this deck gets to do its thing. But you see way more, like, say, Storm than you do Reanimator. And I feel like if you're approaching Reanimator, it might be better to try it in a slower way that has the new crab that I'm totally blanking on. Mirror Shell Crab, I think it is. Um, yeah, we'll kind of see. I've tried to help brew this deck like a Reanimator deck before, and I always kind of felt like it came up short. Let's see how this one fares. Very much would appreciate thoughts in the comments about the deck list after you've seen some rounds. If you're new here, consider subscribing if you like the content, and if you're a regular, throw me a like before the video begins. That's the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's battle. Okay, so I can cycle a Street Wraith for a redraw. I have one loot here. I have a land that taps for black most of the time. This does not appear to be a capable hand. Like, yeah. Huh. That's a weird hand. I think I keep this one and pitch one Faithless Looting and kind of hope this hand gets here. It's real close to doing things. Okay. So let's cycle some of these. Okay. Cycle, cycle, cycle. Nope, 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 nope. Cycle, cycle, cycle. Ulamog's Crusher. Okay, cool. So I can play this tapped. Oh, actually, I shouldn't have played that tapped. In case, like, I find an untapped land. I did not. All right, so I'll discard Ulamog's Crusher and, I don't know, discard. And call it a turn. Next turn, I just sacrifice this land or play Lotus Petal and use the land. Sure. Oh. Okay, sure. Chain Lightning me. Okay. I mean, that's a decent amount of damage. I'll play this out. I'll just keep this land around. Alright, and I have made an Ulamog's Crusher on turn 2. I am at 10 life, though. Annihilator 2, hopefully, just, like, is an okay thing. Ooh, that's horrifying. I think it's fine. Okay, another Exhume's good. Oh, fuck. You have to attack each turn if able? Okay. I was supposed to play Exhume before my opponent can sacrifice their creatures. Yeah. Alright, opponent goes to 12. Yeah, I was supposed to put a Street Wraith into play. Now do I just, like, live with my mistake? Now I think I just live with my mistake and don't give my opponent that Thraben Inspector. Sure. Damage is super relevant, too. Alright, I go to 6. Alright, I attack for 8. Lightning Bolt me. I think that means I'm dead. My opponent will sacrifice an artifact to deal 2 damage to me, and then, like, they're left with a Glint Hawk that just kills me. Yeah, I made a turn 2 Ulamog's Crusher, and I'm just going to lose to a Glint Hawk. That is very disappointing. I have no removal spells in my deck, right? I have no removal spells in my deck. The only way I could possibly win is, like, with a late for dinner line to get a food token, but I also have to, like, crack it. Seems insane. I don't think that's actually happening. Alright, I guess sacrifice this. Cast a Manamorphose. I guess make, like, red-black. Cast a Faithless Looting. Yeah, like, I can Exhume. I don't have a flying blocker. Boom. You don't have... Yeah, that's super disappointing. Alright, I'm dead. Alright, I mean, we made an Ulamog's Crusher on turn 2. That was cool. Like, that counts for something. I'm gonna cut all the first day of classes and just play more lands in those spots, and then maybe play a couple of these as well. There's another reanimation target. I don't think a Street Wraith is really good enough to win here. Like, I can just treat Street Wraith as something that makes my deck smaller. I'm not sure if that's better than just having more of these things, just like more things that I can hit to make my Exhume better. You know, these are my literal first games with this deck, so they don't have heuristics for knowing how to sideboard and whatnot. But my gut says this is bad, and I'm going to cut it accordingly. Okay, I have a looting effect. I have no Exhume effect. I have a handful of redraws. I need to hit both a true fatty and a reanimation spell with this, though, so I think I just mulligan. This maybe works. My mana base is so bad. Holy shit. I'm gonna junk a Sulfur Vent here. Like, I get to use the Sandstone Needle twice. before this land just, like, disappears. So hopefully I can just kind of Faithless Looting into the nuts. Alright, I think I have to go for it right now. Because I can cast Faithless Looting, discard 2 cards, and, like, find an Exhume and go off. Did not find an Exhume. Am I still going for it? I can have 2 redraws to go for it. I think I'm still going for it. Card 2. Tap this. Manamorphose. Go red with the first one. Second redraw. I'll go red-black with this one. A Dragon's Breath. That's no good. Can't think of a world in which a Faithless Looting flashback gets me there this turn, right? I would not be able to, like, get to 2 mana and also get Exhume if I use the Lotus Petal to flash it back. Unless I Rite of Flame. Okay. Rite of Flame gets me to 3 mana. I'll flash back a Faithless Looting. I need to hit both Petal and Exhume. I did not do that. Yep. Okay, so my deck just fizzled. I mean, I got pretty deep, but that doesn't particularly matter. Like, my opponent just holds up a mana for Relic, and then I can't really do anything. Yeah. So we're dead here. I do not expect to win from this situation now. Okay, sure. Alright. So I guess I will go ahead and haggle. I'll discard an Ulamog's Crusher. I'll draw an Exhume. Alright, deck. Alright. I'll shut up. I'll shut up. There goes my land, though. There's an Exhume. Okay. Okay. I have made an Ulamog's Crusher on turn 2, and then on turn 3. Maybe there's something here. Yeah, Synthesizer is real cool. Like, this is absolutely a new staple from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Okay. Alright, some amount of faith has been restored. Okay, YouTube, don't fucking be this person. You make yourself look like an asshole. Like, be better than this person. Like, we had a great game of Magic, and, like, then you just throw out shit like this that just, like, shows you're salty and immature. Like, don't be this person. I don't know that I'm gonna make any changes to my sideboarding here. Like, the Street Wraith is about the only thing that I can adjust here, I think. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do this Street Wraith. Okay, this one has no initial mana source. This one has to be a mulligan. This has an Exhume, but no initial mana source. This has to be a mulligan. This is a 5-card hand that has a reanimation card in hand, but I have no looter and no fatty. So the question is, like, is a 5-card hand with some number of these cards better than a 4-card hand? I think it is. I'm gonna pitch a Spirit Guide and a Rite of Flame here. So I'm gonna try to wait a few turns, kind of do my thing. I'm good on mana now. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. So I can cast Late to Dinner. Sure. Alright, there's a Crusher. I think I'm willing to do this here. Why did I auto red? That's weird. Why am I auto producing red mana with this? I am not trying to do that. That's really annoying. Okay. Alright, and Ash Barrens. Not great. I didn't find any looting card. I guess I will just land cycle this then. Find that plains. Play this out and call it a turn. Alright, there's a Synthesizer. Dawnbringer Cleric, sure. It's a very reasonable magic card. This destroys a bunch of, like, new enchantment cards, which is cool. They're just taking the life gain mode. That's fine. Okay, let's confirm. This is 1 mana floating. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Ulamog's Crusher. Opponent has no mana available. Okay. Faithless Looting. I'll discard Ulamog's Crusher and Fangren Marauder. Go ahead and sacrifice that. Play a Rite of Flame. Play the Ulamog's Crusher off late to dinner. Alright, good shit. And then I have a Faithless Looting left for later. See if my opponent has something that can deal with my Ulamog's Crusher. I'm at 20 life this time, so they don't get to just, like, aggro me out. Sure, absolutely. Lightning Bolt's fine. I just, like, am looking to dodge assorted, like, white removal that can actually kill this creature. Sure. Crash in with the Crusher. Make my opponent sacrifice 2 things. Alright, great. Opponent goes to 14. I don't think I want to loot yet. I think I'm just gonna, like, save this land in hand in case I want to loot it away. And plan on cracking my food token this turn. That's fine. That's a scary amount of power. Take 2 this turn. 15. Crack this. Okay, yeah. Nice. So now I'll cast this Faithless Looting. I'll discard Crusher Guide here. Crash in for another 8. Alright, opponent's sacrificing their mana sources. Going to 6. I think I'll call it a turn there. I could play this land and then flashback the Faithless Looting, but that costs me the Lotus Petal. May or may not actually be worth it. What are you doing with your Cleric? Okay, they're going to just take out my Crusher. That's fine. When these things have prowess and, like, gain life, that's the sort of situation where my opponent gains a lot of ground. But if these don't have lifelink, I don't care too much about them. I'll just take my 6. Like, my Ulamog's Crusher is going to destroy 3 permanents in this turn cycle. That's pretty damn good. Dragon Breath is cool. Let's cast a Faithless Looting. Pretty medium results overall there. Discard Dragon Breath Spirit Guide here. Send in with Ulamog's Crusher. Sure. My opponent takes the block. That's fine. Go ahead and play this land tapped now. I really should have considered keeping Spirit Guide in hand and then just playing this as a 2-3 that could block one of these. Okay. Yeah, so I'm, like, just short of lethal here. My opponent goes to 12, which is a problem. So my opponent sacrifices 2 lands, and then they have me with lethal on the back swing. So I need to get another creature into play. I'll just Dragon Breath worded with mana value 6 or greater. So I need to play towards drawing an Exhume off of Faithless Looting here, I guess. This makes black, this makes black. So I can flashback Faithless Looting using this. And get a large creature. Found it. I found a large creature, rather. But not not an Exhume, which is what I needed. Doesn't make red, so I can't go for another attempt. Such is life. Oh, I could have gotten one deeper with Haggle. Now, for fun, let's see if Haggle would have done it. I don't think so, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we made an early Ulamog's Crusher, and it was just, like, not good enough to actually win the game multiple times. But that was a really neat showing from this deck in round 1. Okay, I'll be keeping my hand here. Like, the hands that have Exhume are going to be quite good. Oh, that's too good. Also, like, you're too far over. You're supposed to be lined up with this. Something approximating that. Looks about right. Yeah, opponent was just like, oops. So my various lands enter tapped. If I play Sandstone Needle, I can Manamorphose into Exhume without actually losing a land next turn. That's fine. Because if my opponent plays a discard spell, they just take the Exhume anyway, right? And then it doesn't matter that, like, I played this rather than this. Now, my opponent also just can... Oh, that's a hell of a draw. Alright, play Manamorphose. Black, red. Don't have enough mana to do that thing. Cast an Exhume. Return an Ulamog's Crusher. Play a tapped land. Alright. Are you just tapping 2 mana and killing my big fatty? No, no. I imagine this is what the angelic renewals in the sideboard are for. Oh, okay. Sorry, you might have missed that. I kind of muted myself while I was coughing. My opponent cast a Sign in Blood, targeting themselves there. Okay, so 4 mana. That's enough for first day of class into Exhume. So, first day of class, I will not learn. And then I will Exhume, which means that this gets +1/+1 and a haste. Yeah, you may absolutely cycle away as I annihilate 2 of your lands and get half of your life total. Opponent has an out here. Opponent can just play another land into another cast down. Like that very much is an out. So let's see if they have it. Okay, Chainer's Edict. Same logic. I have now used 2 of my Exhumes, so it's a little hard for me to find another one. That's good. I'll need to find some white mana to return that. I think I'll just bin both fatties here. Like, I can use some Rite of Flames to feed a Faithless Looting in a little while. Alright, Sign in Blood, target themselves. So they are continuing to hit their land drops, which is good, because Mono Black Control does not function well with fewer than 3 lands. Okay, they're going for another Divest. Like, I don't blame them for casting that card at this point. Like, I already have creatures in graveyard. Do I want to play this land? I probably want to play this land. Because then next turn I can cast 1 Rite of Flame and just tap both of these lands normally in order to play During Rest is very good here. Basically a time walk in this situation. Alright. I think I am still just going to do this. I would have preferred to have been deeper in my deck before doing this, but like I very much just need to find a Lotus Petal here. Alright, I'll discard a Dragon Breath and I'm okay on lands. I think I'll keep the Ritual. Like the Sandstone Needle can't be tapped for normal mana. So Mono Black Control can kind of like accelerate quickly in terms of finishing me off. Like there are cards like okay. Anyway, there are cards like Grey Merchant of Asphodel that will really go from like, oh, I have just a little bit of damage on board to, oh, I just ate a drain for like 8. This is kind of what I was talking about in the deck tech, though, of like not having very many cards that actually cast this, or very many mana sources that actually can cast it. There's an Exhume, though. And I have a Dragon Breath in graveyard? Hell yeah. So discard first day of class, Rite of Flame. Oh, fuck. Fuck. This doesn't make the right colors. Okay. I'll wait a turn. Alright, there's another land drop. Seems like I'm going to take 2. And then I really just want my opponent to like tap out for something. Okay, there's a Grey Merchant. I think this means I basically win. It's not literally winning. Or maybe is it? Am I going to have enough left over to Fire Breathe? I will. So I can go... I don't even have to sacrifice these lands. My opponent doesn't have any creatures in graveyard. I was just checking that real quick. So I will Exhume, grabbing an Ulamog's Crusher, getting a Dragon's Breath. I'll send this on in here. My opponent has to annihilate 2. And we'll kind of see how they treat this turn. If they don't block, I surprise Spirit Guide Fire Breathing. They've got a Chainer's Edict in graveyard that they can use to answer this, potentially. Okay, so they went with rats and a land. So they are going to go ahead and take the block here. Dragon Breath doing some serious work with the haste here. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, ho. My opponent needed to cast that before sacrificing their swamps. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, God. I actively feel bad for this person. Oh. Yeah, like, opponent mentally went, "This is going to give this creature minus blah, minus blah." But now they don't have 7 in graveyard for Chainer's Edict, so they have to have a new removal spell in hand. Okay, it's just another Grey Merchant. Don't think that keeps them alive this time. Alright, let's send in Ulamog's Crusher. Okay, opponent's losing lands, so they're gonna chump block with Grey Merchant. Oh shit, we're in Declare Blockers? Then I can just cast a Rite of Flame. Oh fuck, Rite of Flame is a sorcery. Okay, it's fine. Okay. There's 9. There's 10. Spirit Guide. There's 11. There's lethal. Whew. I don't know whether or not I win that one if my opponent doesn't misplay there. It becomes much harder. I can potentially just, like, draw a white source for late to dinner, and then it doesn't matter too much. Okay. I think I want these 3 lands and the Angelic Renewals, and I also wouldn't hate Gurmag Anglers. I'm gonna board out first day of class, I think. Like, my hope is that I can get a Dragon's Breath into the graveyard, and then I don't have to, like, worry about this card. So that gets me 4 of these. I think I want to stay mana heavy, and I think I'll just cut 2 Straight Wraiths. Like, Swamp Walk is cool in the matchup and all. Don't get me wrong, but don't know that I super want my mulligan decisions to be ambiguous with a bunch of cards like Street Wraith and Manamorphose in my hand. This hand is kind of medium. It has an Ash Barrens that I can cycle for a white source. It has a Haggle, so I can get a creature into the graveyard, but it has no way to get anything out. I think I'm just going to ship this one. That's what I'm talking about with, like, the redraw ambiguity. I think I'll go to 5. Yes. Yes, this will do nicely. So I need to keep Exhume, Hand, Merchant, Mountain, Petal for sure. Yeah, so I guess that means these go back. I need the Petal to represent the black mana. And then I hope that between two draw steps and the Haggle. Fuck. Okay. That sucks. I'm going to make my opponent crack that. Alright, junk a Hand of Emrakul. There's an Exhume. I'm going to play out this Lotus Petal so this Lotus Petal isn't taken via a discard spell. Spell bombs are brutal here. So I am like an all-in singular deck, and I'm trying to capitalize on the fact that, like, Graveyard Hate isn't super common in Pauper. Like, it's around, but it's kind of one of those things that's, like, ancillary. Like, you know, people play, like, a Bojuka Bog, a Spell Bomb, or something. But it's not like you're seeing absolute haymakers of cards like Rest in Peace like you are in many other formats. So unfortunately, I have to just power through this shit. I don't have another basic land, right? It's just like the mountains and the plains. Yeah, okay. I can't turn this into black. I can land cycle this for white, though, and then still cast Exhume, which is probably good. All right, there's plains. And attempt Exhume. It's not gonna work. Okay. All right, that stings. So my next play involves, like, putting a Merchant of the Veil into play and, like, using its 3 mana ability to loot and, like, work my way towards something meaningful. What have I done to deserve this? That gets an oof in chat. Ugh. Okay. That's my turn. Okay, that's an end of turn cycle of Barrenmore. That's fine. So this one's gonna slip away pretty quickly, and things like Chittering Rats get to do this and basically time walk me, since I'm just trying to get deeper in my deck. I also don't think that my Merchant is going to, like, live long enough to loot multiple times. Like, I'll be happy if I get a single loot out of that card. And every time my opponent has a Chittering Rats, they just put me in that same situation where they just get a time walk. All right. Rager, absolutely. Looks like opponent is missing their land drop this turn, though. So at least they're not immediately working towards just like a gray merchant that outright kills me. That's the good news here. Um, yeah, I'm going to looting more so to try to hit a land drop than anything else. Okay. It's sort of awkward. All right, I'm going to discard Dragon Breath hand. I'm going to cycle Street Wraith to try to hit this land drop. And I think I just have to keep both reanimation spells since, like, my next one already has been invalidated by the onboard stuff. Okay, I hit Sandstone Needle, which means I can attempt to late to dinner Hand of Emrakul next turn, and then, like, Spellbomb eats my Dragon Breath and hand, and then I can try again later. Ow, that sucks. So that means, like, one of these is taken, the other one is countered by Spellbomb. I have to draw so hot to not die before my opponent, or sorry, to, like, find an out before my opponent can kill me. I actually think you're supposed to take the late to dinner there. Because, like, that's the one that I can currently cast with my mana. I can't currently cast an Exhume. Alright. Yep. I take 4 this turn, go to 12, and then I'm dead in 2 more turns. And it's not like putting a Hand of Emrakul into play is even, like, going to just win the game on its own, right? Like, it's a 7/7 Annihilator 1. That's good. Am I just supposed to play a 2/3 this turn? No, like, there's so many worlds in which that just, like, eats a removal spell, and then I'm not really on outs. I guess I'm currently playing towards some, like, Manamorphose-based lines, like Manamorphose Exhume, plus, like, Merchant of the Veil in the same turn so that I play around an Edict effect, question mark, question mark, question mark. I expect I have already lost this one, and, like, it just takes another turn cycle for me to prove that hypothesis. Like, if my opponent has a removal spell or an edict or something, I think they beat the vast majority of my lines handily at that. Like, my opponent is, like, very quickly approaching the point where they could just play, like, attack all out, losing a creature each time to my giant big-butted blocker. Okay, I don't think this Faithless Looting can get me anywhere, because I need, like, 3 different things. Yeah, that does not get me anywhere. If I play out a creature, I'm still dead on board, so I'm comfortable conceding there. I think I want to play some Gurmag Anglers. Play Gurmag Anglers over Street Wraiths here. Okay, what does this hand do? Nothing? Yeah, this hand does an awful lot of nothing, despite, like, almost being very good. This hand also, unfortunately, does nothing. We'll go to 5. Well, I keep this on 5. I keep Fence, Looting, Dragon's Breath, Ash Barrens, and 1 Rite of Flame or Spirit Guide. I think that's a keep. It's a Rite of Flame and a Spirit Guide here. I'm not going to go for the crazy line of Spirit Guide on turn 1 Faithless Looting. I don't think that goes right enough of the time for me to want to do that. Okay. I think I'm going to tap that for a black, land cycle that, grab the mountain, and play a Faithless Looting. Oof. Oof. That's very bad. I'll discard double Dragon's Breath. I can get the basic planes out of my deck next turn, but, like, I basically have a 0-card hand right now. Alright. So land cycle that. Get the planes. Play the planes. Play Angelic Renewal, which makes me less vulnerable to a cast down. And then next turn, I can hope to draw, like, an Exhume off a Faithless Looting flashback or something. I guess I still need the creature plus the reanimation effect, which is not great. I might need to hold this Faithless Looting for a couple of turns. My mulligan to 5 was not kind to me, and my opponent has a 3-mana time walk, which is rough. Let's get deeper. I'm not super happy with just, like, throwing this out here now. But now that I found a creature, Exhume and Late to Dinner are out to get my hasty Ulamog that can't easily die. Okay, you've got your land drop. What are we looking at? Okay, just an attack step. I'll absolutely take some damage here. Okay, they're just holding up mana. I think I am going to play this Sandstone Needle out because I am, like, definitely in just, like, hard cast a fucking Ulamog Crusher territory right now, right? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And absolutely just hard cast an Ulamog's Crusher if I draw one. So my opponent is just holding up a bunch of mana. Now, they may be able to answer a creature multiple times and kind of like dance around this effect. We'll kind of see. Okay. I mean, here's attempt 1. Here's my Exhume. I return an Ulamog's Crusher. I will absolutely return these Fire Breathings. Oh my god, I'm getting an attack? That's wild. Okay, there's a cast down. And the Angelic Renewal triggers. I will sacrifice Angelic Renewal to return this. Dragon Breaths come back. Yes. Now my opponent has to annihilate 2. And they're sacrificing 2 lands. Okay, cool. I believe it is correct to now cast a Spirit Guide so that I play around an Edict better. Okay, there's a land drop. What's your follow-up? Chainer's Edict. I will sacrifice this Spirit Guide. Aha! Alright, let's attempt to get in there with Ulamog's Crusher. Alright, there's my attack. Oh, baby. That's no blocks. I'll absolutely Dragon Breathe once there. I don't think it's correct to, like, sacrifice these lands to try to get more damage in. I can try to finish off my opponent next turn if I want. I mean, I'll probably want. Okay, there is another Chainer's Edict. So my fatty is gone, but I've annihilated 4 of my opponent's lands. Like, that's definitely worth something. Manamorphose. I'll absolutely just cast that. Maybe red-white here? A Rite of Flame. That's not doing me any good right now. Alright, we'll chill. I have lots of good draws. Like, I have 7 Eldrazi in my deck. 6 reanimation spells. 3, I think, Gurmag Anglers. What do you got? That's good. Monarch is some BS right now. This is also a Death Toucher to boot. That's bad for me. I think I'm going to lose to this card. Like, that is going to offset my Annihilator just very, very quickly. So, I think I'm donezo. There's some lines that can be good for me. And, we'll see. 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can just get to 9. Chainer's Edict is kind of a problem, but I think I've got to just fire this off. Alright, so Rite of Flame. Rite of Flame. That's 4, 5, 6. I guess this is always going. That's 6, 7, 8. Lotus Petal is 9. And so much mana. Alright, so it resolves. Am I just going to eat a cast down here? Or am I going to get to annihilate a permanent? To eat a Defile. Does that mean my Dragon Breath doesn't get to? Okay, it's double Defile. Okay. Let's see. Would I attach that? So what is the wording of this? Creature with mana value. Oh, with mana value, not power and toughness. Okay, sure. Okay. Opponent is doing the smart thing and leaving a blocker back so that a hasted creature doesn't just get to snipe this game. Which is good, because, you know, maybe found a hasted creature. Alright, attempt Late to Dinner. Alright, it's in play. Yes. Yes. Now, this is a must attack each turn, if able, sort of thing. I think I would do that anyway. Like, I could play this in the second main phase if I wanted to block with this, but, like, with a Chainer's Edict in the graveyard, I'm not really about that life. Seems like my opponent's just going for their lands here. Oh, okay, they're going for a land and a Rager. That's fine. Like, I just need to keep ripping reanimation spells so that this Dragon's Breath can do its thing. Also, just being real, like, I can just time my opponent out here. They're sub 5 minutes on clock. Okay. You're just gonna return... Oh, you're returning Chittering Rats over Thorn? Interesting. Thought you would return Thorn because it's a Death Toucher. Okay, it's a Gray Merchant. Sure. So that brings them out of range where they just die to 1 spell. Okay, I'm perfectly happy drawing this card. Like, this means that if I find another reanimation spell, I kind of get double value out of it. Chander's Edict is a problem, though. Like, opponent is back to 7 lands already, despite like the fact that I've annihilated 4 or 5 of them. Alright, so I eat 2 here, go to 9. And potentially, like, just die to another Gray Merchant next turn. There's Chittering Rats. Yeah. They also might have gone for the Time Walk, hoping that I would have just, like, gotten a card stuck in my hand. And because of, like, another copy of Chittering Rats, I think I'm supposed to just play this out. I'm at a little more life than it looks like because I have this food token here. Yeah, more land. Yeah, targeting themselves. It's usually worth checking who those things are targeting when it gets to this point of the game. I don't think I could beat that. Not with 4 power in play already. I'm gonna go ahead and just take my life here. I'll drop to 8. This Spellbomb is brutal. Yeah, unless my opponent times out, I don't think I can just win this one at this point. Alright, let's Manamorphose. Gurmag Angler would be a good hit. Like red-black. Lotus Petal, I'll keep this in hand for a Faithless Looting at this point. Maybe. I'll die to a Chittering Rats for keeping a card in hand if I do that. But I think I'm dead enough at this point that I need to play towards every possible out for me, rather than trying to avoid things that can mess with me. I am dead to another Gray Merchant if my opponent has one. This brings me to 4, and then my opponent will have 6 Devotion if they play a Gray Merchant. Okay. Alright, they don't have it. I am dead to bricking on this draw step, though, as well. Alright. I will go out with spells on the stack, damn it. I'm also technically supposed to tap planes there. Not that it matters, because, like, this happens, but, you know. Alright. At this point, I will concede the game. GG's. Hell of a slog there. Alright. So, here's an Exhume. Here's a Crusher. I am lacking a way to get it in the graveyard. It's been a day or 2 since I recorded the previous round. I'm going to do a quick check and see how many hits I have. I can hit 4 Faithless Looting and 2 Merchant of the Veils, essentially. Okay. Or I could discard to hand size. Man, I wish I was on the draw here. I think I'm going to keep this. I'm just going to cycle this immediately. Because I have some just absolutely nutty draws. And then let's just go ahead and play a tapped land here. I can do some mana... Hell yeah. Am I going to play around a Spell Pierce? No? Feels like no. Because something is probably going to get pierced no matter what. Okay. The discard... Double Idiot. I can give it haste if I wait until next turn. But, you know... When in Rome, do crime using your graveyard, I believe is how the saying goes. I'll keep the second Manamorphose here and just cast an Exhume now. Yeah, it's a Crusher, baby! Turn 2! Yeah! First of all, rude. Now we know what we're playing. We're playing against familiars. I'm going to go ahead and cycle this out now. Let's just go red-black here. I mean, yeah, this is why I cycled. Don't do it. Alright, opponent is a bully, and they're mean. And I just want to make Eldrazi and annihilate their lands, and I don't really see what's wrong with what I'm doing here. I'm gonna wait a little while on this. I guess my opponent also could be just like mono blue fairies. Okay, they are mono blue fairies. So I want to get this Faithless Looting into the graveyard. Oh, okay, no ninja. Okay. That's real. Okay. So here's Rite of Flame, which lets me flash back a Faithless Looting. I'll discard a Crusher and a Dragon's Breath. I want to keep one Crusher in hand so that I can play towards worlds where I actually just cast it for 8 mana, because I have 6 mana in play already now. And these first day of classes are now. No. No, I do not want to do that. Budmodo, I really appreciate you making the offer, because I'm going to tell you that that would not have occurred to me to actually do. Alright, so we are one away from hardcasting a Crusher. Crusher does avoid a lot of my opponent's stuff, right? Like, it doesn't avoid actual factual counterspell, but it'll ignore Sprite. It'll ignore, like, Spell Pierce and other soft counters of that nature. I could hardcast this now, but I guess it's just, like, optimal to just haggle instead. Alright. Discard first day of class. The new Merchant of Vale. All this stuff flies, so this isn't blocking it. So I think I am just going to increase my Haggle Storm here. Discard a first day of class. Street Wraith. 2, 4, 5, 6. Will be 7, 8. Sure. Must go deeper. 2, 4, 5, 6. No. Can't play this one. I realistically think I'm dead now. Alright. I could sacrifice a land to, like, play one of these, but I don't really think that's gonna get me anywhere. I also can die to double, or I guess single ninjutsu activation this turn. Which I am seeing here. Sneaky pseudo haste damage there. Alright, I will play some number of red elemental blasts here. As I'm doing in every round. I think I'm going to board these out. It's unfortunate that my opponent has Snap. That's going to be rough. So I could play like one Gurmag Angler as just a plan B. I also don't think the Street Wraiths are super free here, like as we just saw. I'm not sure how many of these I should cut. Like, it might be that I want to have more mana sources for late to dinner, and I just, like, go down on Street Wraiths and just do this, and then I'm a little better at playing against soft permission. And I have more perfect information about what my opening hand actually looks like. I do not hate it. How is this opening hand? So, turn 1, Needle tapped and Petal. Turn 2, Haggle. Rite of Flame late to dinner. That's 2, 3, 4 mana. 4 mana. No, I'm 1 short of that. And is probably a keep, though. Like, I can probably engineer a situation in which I win, or attempt to win pretty quickly. Alright. 2 mana. Haggle. Okay, there is a blue elemental blast. I think I need to counter that back. I think I need to get this into the graveyard. I think that's pretty important. Alright, so my Haggle resolves. I put the Crusher in graveyard. I found a looting. That's not bad. I need more mana. Preferably permanent mana sources here. Kind of. So if I want to play around absolutely nothing, I can just jam Rite of Flame into late to dinner this turn. I'm not sure that it's correct to do so. I think I'm just going to chill here. Like, I don't want to be chilling, but I kind of just think I have to. Like, I can draw another blast or something. That can be pretty good. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Use Faithless Looting as a bait spell here. So let's loot and see if my opponent wants to deal with this. Oh yeah, they do. Absolutely. You can counter that. I think I am going to use my Rite of Flame here now. Lotus Petal. So that's 4. 1 white. Late to dinner. Target Ulamog's Crusher. And I am playing this around Spell Pierce. As you can see, I have 2 mana available. Alright, Crusher in play. Does opponent have a snap? If no, I imagine that's the game. Son of a gun. We tried. So now I have no creature in graveyard and disappearing lands. This is an awful situation. I expect that I have effectively lost this game at this point. That almost works. So this is 3 mana Flashback Faithless, get these into graveyard, and Exhume again. I need 2 more mana, and like this mana is going to disappear. Okay, that's fine. I think I'm gonna like wait a turn or two. Of One Mind is very gross here. When it has 7 cards in hand. I think I'm gonna wait a turn or two and attempt to like not lose the Sandstone Needle. Not sure if I can afford to do that though. This is not a great situation for me. I'm not taking that much damage. That is very good. Now that I've drawn that, maybe I can't do this because I don't like have a black source if I use this to loot. No, I'm gonna go for this turn because if I find a one of the sacrifice lands that does black, that just lets me do this next turn. Urmag Angler, that's not a bad draw. All right, let's discard Crusher, Dragon's Breath, play a new land out. Very, very scared though. Like this is also just something that could be bounced back to hand at any time with another ninja, and then like sprites start countering Exhume, which is not good for me. All right, take your card. Another Exhume. Almost what I'm looking for. I am taking at least 4 damage this turn, and then I think, okay, it's going to be 5 damage this turn. I think if I brick on my draw this turn, I'm on no outs. All right, so they've looted away a Spire Golem, and they're just going to discard. Their hand is just so full of gas. Okay, yeah. I think at this point I'm just deterministically dead. Even if I make an Ulamog, my opponent just sacrifices 2 lands and finishes me on the backswing. Oof. Okay, this is a classic example of why Street Wraith thinning your deck is not free, right? So, like, this is a hand that is very close to going off. Like, I have a mana source, I have a way to put things into graveyards, and I just have 2 unknown cards that I don't actually know what they are. I'm going to keep this hand, but, like, there's a very real chance that, like, this hand does not really accomplish anything. Is this the Tron land? Yeah. I mean, not, like, the literal Tron land, but, like, the land you play in Tron, because it fixes your mana pretty well. Okay. No fatty in those 2 cycles. I think I'm just going to play this tapped this turn. So, like, playing this tapped this turn means I can go Mountain, Faithless Looting, into a bunch of stuff next turn, probably including a Rite of Flame. This is just a cantripping artifact. All right. I have a Spirit Guide, so I don't have to, like, Rite of Flame right now if I'm kind of, like, going for it. All right. Never punished. All right. Discard a Crusher and 1 Rite of Flame to be cute. So now I will Spirit Guide, Rite of Flame, first day of class. I will not learn. Sacrifice this land to Exhume, burning an Ulamog's Crusher, which does gain haste this time. This is the first time, like, first day of class is coming in just, like, absolutely super clutch here. And on turn 2, I did annihilate 2 of my opponent's lands. All right. First day of class, I will not rip on you quite as much from now on. Okay, there go 2 of my opponent's permanents. I don't imagine they have actual outs to this. They haven't conceded, so... Oh yeah, just neat thing about wording. It gains haste until end of turn, so notice that the summoning sickness on this creature did come back. Yeah, you may absolutely draw your Wellspring. I'll cycle this. Sure. I want to write... Well, I guess I'll just, you know, start here. But I could just, like, Rite of Flame to immediately cast a, Faithless Looting. I think I'll do, actually. Get my flashback on. Discard another Ulamog's Crusher, and I guess a Sandstone Needle. Then play a Mountain. Opponent's at 2 life. I imagine we're done. We're done. Okay, so do I want to board here? Like, I have cards that are acceptable in the matchup, like a Red Elemental Blast can technically do stuff, if Angren Marauder can technically do stuff. Just a question of, like, how much of, like, Street Wraith and First Day of Class do I actually want to cut when, like, my primary plan can just kill my opponent if it works. I'm not really sure here. Like, I do want more mana sources for late to dinner, but this may be a time where I just, like, resubmit the main deck. I don't hate going down on Street Wraiths to just play more mana sources. That probably makes more of my initial hands keepable anyway. Let's do that. I'm unsure on whether Street Wraith or First Day of Class is actually better here. Beep. 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 This is fucking filthy. I don't believe I'm allowed to do this shit. Yeah, that's a good draw too. Alright. Needle, petal, pass. Alright, so this is for black. Cycle that immediately. Cool. So let's go 2 mana. Loot. Mana value is 2 or less. Occurs. I have 1 mana floating. I can just flash this back next turn. I could use Rite of Flame and Lotus Petal to do it right now, but then I don't have Exhume. Yeah, I'll just wait. Land go. No, this deck probably only has like 1 of these. They don't have very many copies of each one of their cards. Okay, cool. So I have 2, 4, 5, 6 possible mana here, which is more than enough. I think I'm going to start by casting a Rite of Flame, though. Sort of oddly. That gets me to 3 mana without tapping the Sandstone Needle in case that becomes relevant. A Blue Elemental Blast as a follow-up. Okay. 2, 4, 5, 6. Sure, I may just get to the point where I just fucking hardcast the Ulamog in a, like, look at me, I'm the Tron deck now fashion. And this is exactly why I cast that Rite of Flame the previous turn, right? Was so that, like, if my spell got countered, I didn't lose both, like, didn't lose a needle there. Okay, there's another Tron land. It's not the complete set, though. This is the tap an artifact to loot thing. Yeah. All right, so we're chilling until I can find a like haggle effect, or until my hand size gets large enough that I can just naturally discard to it. We're beginning to reach the stage of the game where my opponent is favored rather than like this initial burst where I just have to overcome a couple of counter spells and then I win a good portion of the time. Okay, what's this one on green? Okay, so there's 1 on green, 1 on black. I could late to dinner a Street Wraith, but I don't think that's what I'm looking for. Same with Exhume. Mystical Teachings. Sure. That's good. That can counter my next, like, haggle, faithless looting sort of effect. A crop rotation. Ooh. Does the opponent have Bojuka Bog? Or are they just okay, they're just gonna assemble Tron. I was thinking on the wrong axis. Yep, okay. So you have the Urzatron, which is gonna do stuff. And let's also just, like, not forget that Mystical Teachings does have flashback. I assume this is Muldrifter mana. That is Muldrifter mana. And a Wellspring. Now, this thing is now officially on for a looting effect. Okay. Now, next turn I can just draw and hard discard this Ulamog, and then try 2 reanimation effects in a single turn and hope that works out. Okay, the Ephemerate bullshit has begun. So this is very objectively powerful. That was a 1 mana draw 4. Not super okay with that, honestly. More Muldrifter. Oh, it's Mnemonic Wall. Alright, so Mnemonic Wall will return the Ephemerate and allow them to get another 1 mana draw 4. Yeah, so I'm probably at the point where I'm buried and can't truly win, especially with, like, Mystical Teachings being able to just kind of, like, find the perfect tool for whatever situation my opponent finds themselves in. But they're not technically killing me yet, right? I will go ahead and use the cleanup phase. Oh, nope, you're going to do something first. It is a ghostly flicker. Okay. That's fine. No big deal. Demonic Wall returns ghostly flicker. Opponent draws 2 with Muldrifter. Yeah, okay, there's another Mystical Teachings. Getting a blue Elemental Blast. Okay, that's actually okay here. Alright. Discard Crusher. I really want to be able to discard this Dragon's Breath, too. But I don't know that I get to have it all here. Opponent is going to discard a few cards at their end step if they don't play out a billion things. Okay, sure. So this can increase the size of one of their Muldrifters. Alright, here's to hoping. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 total mana. I need 6 of it. If I wait a turn and get more mana, I can also try First Day of Class BS. I think I need to, like, do this without casting a red spell so that, like, I don't get my stuff just, like, Manamorphosed, but I don't really know that I can just, like, beat this thing chilling in the graveyard. I think I start on Exhume in an attempt to make my opponent use up their mana on this, and then... Oh. Okay. That was just allowed to hit play, so that's scary. That means that they can just beat that. I wish I had one more mana. Like, I can give it haste here, but if I do that, I can't cast Late to Dinner as a follow-up, and I think the Late to Dinner matters too much. I don't know. Maybe they can answer it on their next turn, but not right now. Let's go for it. If my opponent, like, Blue Elemental blasts this, it's like, whatever, right? Alright, so there's a Teachings. Alright, they have Cast Down. Okay. So at this point, I think I'm comfortable conceding. Like, my opponent has, like, Ephemerates and Ghostly Flickers and stuff, so all that stuff is coming back. They're established. Alright, do I want Angelic Renewal to specifically beat their one of Cast Down? Also, do I want Gurmag Angler just as another plan B? I could also do Red Elemental Blasts. That's not crazy. It's just, like, so hard for me to go off with Protection, though. Just in terms of, like, my resources, since I don't have very many permanent mana sources. I think I'm willing to put the Red Elemental Blasts in, though. Let's try like this. Yeah, so this is turn 2, tap Sandstone Needle for Faithless Looting. I can Red Elemental Blast back that up. If I don't need to back that up, I just Exhume and Eldrazi. This is a keep. So, tapped land, petal, go. Alright, there's your land. Rite of Flame. Don't mind if I do. Opponent does not have colored mana currently. I can go ahead and go 2 mana, Faithless Looting. Oh, wow, Dragon Breath. Discard Hand of Emrakul and Dragon Breath. I can't think of a reason why I need to Rite of Flame here. So I will go... Yeah, like my opponent does not have access to colored mana currently, so I don't need to hold up the last. Alright, there's an Exhume. Yes, I would like to attach that. Attack for 7, annihilating your land. Hell yeah. Okay. We have ended up on the scoreboard here after being close a couple of times. Okay, so I have plenty of mana with this hand, but I don't have an Exhume. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, counting my next draw step, looks to find one to produce a turn 2. Well, maybe turn 3 Ulamog's Crusher. This isn't bad. I think I'm going to keep this. Like, I'm not 100% sure how aggressive. No, I guess it could be turn 2. If like Manamorphose has to get involved. Oh, did my mouse shortcuts go away again? I just updated my computer and some of my mouse shortcuts went away. That's annoying and it's going to drive me crazy. Faithless Looting is a really good draw. I'm just going to cast a Faithless Looting here. Okay. So that's 2 Eldrazi to the bin. Cast a second Faithless Looting. Another Faithless Looting. I can get deep looking for stuff here. I think I'm going to discard First Day of Class Spirit Guide. Gonna cycle Street Wraith. Gonna play Lotus Petal. I use Lotus Petal to cast Faithless Looting. Alright, there's an Exhume. Fuck yeah. The next turn I have Manamorphose Exhume, and then I can keep Late to dinner as well. Yeah, get rid of, like, Crevice Sulfur Vent. Maybe it's more important to... No, this is fine. I got 15 cards deep on my turn 2. That's kind of nuts. Oh, what is this? Dies, create a treasure token, or slightly shrink something. That's fine. Alright, so sacrifice this. Cast a Manamorphose. I think I'm gonna pick black-white here, actually. Why did I auto-pick red? That happened one other time in this league where I just, like, auto-picked something I did not actually click on. So weird. Alright. Anyway. Exhume, get Ulamog's Crusher. I was a mana away from also giving it haste, which would have been disgusting. See what you've got. Flashback Marauder. Fuck me. Okay. That's rough. So I can go 4 mana late to dinner at some point. I'll have to get more mana. Flashback Marauder is not something. I'll happily discard Hand of Emrakul. That's fine. Okay. Yep. And I'll take 3 damage there. Yeah, my mouse shortcuts randomly aren't working. All right, I'm on 15. Okay, all I had to do was... Sorry, I forget whether or not I muted there. Okay, all I had to do was open up my mouse program, and then the issue fixed itself. So kind of my big thing here is I need to just get to 4 mana before my opponent kills me. They've got 4 damage a turn clock right now, and I expect that clock to increase as well. Penumbra Spider. So the haste is going to be important here. I'm going to go ahead and play out my Lotus Petal. I'm not going to just fire off like a Manamorphose, sacrificing both my Lotus Petals and trying to like hit high. Rotting Rats. Sure. I think I don't really have outs here, right? Like my opponent just has enough creatures on board that I can't just kill them with an Ulamog's Crusher connection. That Flashback Marauder was brutal. Okay. So they just like have many of those. That's horrifying. Okay. So I cannot sideboard out any of my haste effects here. I feel very confident in that. So this Angelic Renewal package is probably going to be good here. I think I'm going to cut all of my Street Wraiths and bring this in. That also means that I have to bring in this stuff. So does that mean I go down 2 first day of classes? Because like I'm doing something else that just helps me play around the edict effects? I think that's reasonable. Man, like the flesh bags are just going to be good against like, well, not the flesh bag specifically. Those other things are going to be good against what I've got going on here. This hand doesn't quite look like it's going to get there. This one has no fatty and no way to discard. That's a mulligan to 5. This 5 can't do objectively anything. If I find a looting effect, it's fine, and if I don't, this does nothing. I'm going to go deeper. This is a 4-card hand at this point. Not good. On 4, I'm going to keep this. So, like, that doesn't get to stay. Angelic Renewal probably doesn't get to stay without... Well, maybe I could pitch Dragon's Breath instead. Now I have to get rid of 1 more of these. I could keep Angelic Renewal and play it on turn 2, but I might need to just, like, keep my mana and Exhume here and hope that doing it once is good enough. Not super pleased with this hand, but at this point I don't know that it's worth going any deeper. I think this is just going to be a hard matchup for us, generally speaking, anyway. Like, my opponent wants to sacrifice stuff. Alright. So I have multiple ways to bring stuff back from the graveyard. And we'll see if I can, like, rip a Faithless Looting. Because I can rip Faithless Looting and then just, like, play Exhume. Dies, search for a basic land, yeah. I have not seen this card since its draft format, I don't think. Like, maybe I played this in pod at one point, question mark, but it's been a hot minute. All right, Viridian Emissary is dancing and has finally decided to hit me for 2. Okay. More stuff. All right, this is the dream here, right? Oh no. This requires sacrificing. These are both sulfur vents. I don't think I'm willing to sacrifice my land here, which means I'm going to take myself off late to dinner, which is awkward because it's my better reanimation spell. All right. Lotus Petal. What can you do? You did not find me a fatty. I will junk Dragon Breath and First Day of Class. And I'll play this land because then next turn I can flashback Faithless Looting. But like if I attack and my opponent just junks those two creatures, they just create 2 more treasure tokens, so that doesn't actually do much. Yikes. In terms of my dealing with their board. Oh, they also just have a bunch of free spells like Snuff Out that are going to deal with my critters. That's not good for me. I'll discard Hand of Emrakul, Rite of Flame here. I'm taking 2. I'm going to take 5 damage this turn, down to 9. Don't feel like this gets me there. All right, so let's do red-black for Manamorphose. I will just make red-black here. A Lotus Petal. All right, I will Exhume. That gets me a hasty 7/7. I take so much on the back end here. Like, it's almost not even worth attacking. Like, this has Unearth. No. I can try to make it worth attacking. I can try to turn this into a 2-turn clock. Oh, no. Okay, I think that's curtains for me. Like, I could sacrifice this land and play a 2/2 blocker, but I think, like, this is not going to truly win me the game, right? My opponent will still just, like, probably attack with everything. I'll take 3, trade with this. Alright. I will throw in the towel here, and we end with a 1-4 league. Overall thoughts on the deck list? Honestly, pretty positive. I had a lot of fun playing this deck list, and this deck list does something very powerful, surprisingly consistently. I thought we were going to kind of clunk around and do nothing, but like there were many like screenshot-worthy moments in this league where I did something very broken. Like creating a turn 2 Ulamog is unfair by this format standards, and attacking with a hasty 1 on turn 2 is absolute BS. I will say decks were better at beating the resolved Ulamog Crusher than I thought they would be. Like, plenty of decks had removal spells that answered it, or otherwise, like, just could out-tempo me once it was in play, and just, like, sacrifice lands for a couple of turns while they killed me in the air or something. I'm not super sold on Street Wraith and First Day of Class, but I like a lot of the other things that are in the deck list. I think this, like, pseudo-transformational sideboard plan where you have these, like, angelic renewals as a way to go and bring back your creatures when, like, removal is being used on them. I think that's pretty good. Like, I like that. I do wonder if, like, some of these lands should be in the main deck in some capacity to free up these sideboard slots, though. And I'm unsure how good, like, the Street Wraiths and First Day of Classes are. Maybe I sideboarded out the First Day of Class too much, but it usually felt like that was my best card to board out. We didn't really see these in action in this league. Like, I understand why they're there. I think the Gurmag Anglers are quite good. I think there's room for exploration in this deck list. I think the core idea is solid, even though our results with it weren't. And we did put a lot of wins onto the leaderboard in the rounds that we did lose. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoy. If you did, click the like button on your way out. If you have thoughts about the deck list, I would love to hear them. And I'll be back for another Pauper League again soon. See ya!